This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, Text 37, translation. Thus, because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions. Purport. The vibhuti or opulences offered by Maya are of many varieties. We have experience of different varieties of material enjoyment, even on this planet. But if one is able to promote himself to higher planets like Chandraloka, the sun, or still higher Maharloka, Janaloka and Tapoloka, or even ultimately the highest planet, which is inhabited by Brahma and is called Satyaloka, there are immense possibilities for material enjoyment. For example, the duration of life on higher planets is far, far greater than on this planet. It is said that on the moon the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day. We cannot even imagine the duration of life on the highest planet. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that Brahma's 12 hours are inconceivable even to our mathematicians. These are all descriptions of the external energy of the Lord, or Maya. Besides these, there are other opulences which the yogis can achieve by their mystic power. They are also material. The devotee does not aspire for all these material pleasures, although they are available to him simply by wishing. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can achieve wonderful success simply by willing, but a real devotee does not like that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught that one should not desire material opulence or material reputation, nor should one try to enjoy material beauty. One should simply aspire to be absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord, even if one does not get liberation, but has to continue the process of birth and death unlimitedly. Actually, however, to one who engages in Krishna consciousness, liberation is already guaranteed. Devotees enjoy all the benefits of the higher planets and the Vaikuntha planets also. It is especially mentioned here, Bhagavatim Bhadram. In the Vaikuntha planets, everything is eternally peaceful, yet the pure devotee does not even aspire to be promoted there. But still he gets that advantage. He enjoys all the facilities of the material and spiritual worlds, even during the present lifespan. Ato vibhutim mama maya vinastam aishvaryam ashtangam anupravritam shriyam bhagavatim vasprihayanti bhadram parasya me te shnuvate tu loke. Thus, because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions. So Srila Prabhupada has given also a lecture on this verse, and I have it in front of me, and I will read part parts of this lecture and comment. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also described pure devotional service in Shikshashtaka. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatad bhaktir ahaitu vitvaru. I don't want material wealth, nadanam. I don't want materialistic followers, najanam. I don't want a beautiful wife, nasundarim. I don't even want liberation. So, bhavatad bhaktir ahaitu vitvaru. Even if I'm born again and again, I just want your pure devotional service. So, in the material world, you have people described like selflessness. They speak about goodness. There are amazing stories. People are fascinated what people do, how much they sacrifice for others, how much they try to do good, give up their selfish interests. But I have read so many books and have some life experience, and I have never seen such a standard of loving attitude as it is described in Srila Prabhupada's books. This is something that attracted me very much to Krishna consciousness, and especially in the 20th chapter of Antya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya is speaking in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and when I read this first time, I was really amazed what kind of attitude Srimati Radharani has towards Krishna. I don't wish my own happiness, I only want happiness of Krishna. And if he is happy, and if he is happy by my being unhappy, by seeing my unhappiness, this is my greatest happiness. I don't care about my own happiness. It doesn't make Krishna happy. So this is the topmost selfless love. And we cannot imitate this, but we can aspire for this. So Srimati Radharani is the highest devotee, and she has this amazing attitude. In this world, we are trying to practice unconditional giving and unconditional love, and we see that it's not easy. Most people, when they give, they want to get something in return. So we try to give unconditionally. We try to give. Try to give unconditional love, or unconditionally give different things like gifts or whatever we can give. And we know that Krishna is pleased when we give unconditionally, but to be good doesn't mean to be naive. If somebody is exploiting your kindness, you should not give, because it's also not good for them. You're not doing them a favor by allowing them to exploit you. So we give, but we don't want gratitude, we don't even want reciprocation, although we don't mind if somebody reciprocates. But if people are taking advantage of our kindness, then we will notice it and we will act accordingly. to be good doesn't mean to be naive. I speak to so many devotees, and one of the biggest problems that devotees have is that people exploit them because they're trying to be good. Shastra is telling you, be good, be good, be good. So, Narada Muni is initiating many devotees and even many living entities. And once he initiated the snake, you know the snake is accustomed to biting, but Narada told her, now you're Vaishnavi, so you should not bite anymore. And then when some children have seen that snake has become non-violent, they took advantage. They started to throw stones, they started to insult her, provoke her, and one good thing that snake has done, didn't take charge of the situation, didn't make her own decision, but went to her spiritual master and asked him for advice. What shall I do? I'm trying to be good, but these people are taking advantage of it. And Narada said, what? Who remembers? Yeah?
You can, make a noise like pretend that you're going to bite, but don't bite.
Okay, extend your hood also. Extend your hood.
Yeah.
Make a noise, hissing.
Hiss, yes.
Sss. So, Srila Prabhupada said similar thing in disciplining children. Show the stick, but don't beat them. Show the stick, but don't beat them. Unfortunately, some of the teachers, they beat children in Gurukula. Before, I don't know now. I hope it's not happening. So, people sometimes think that devotees are very soft and then take advantage of this. And I have mentioned this the other day, but some of you were not here, so I don't mind repeating it. I don't know if it's Belfast or Dublin, but somewhere in Ireland, devotees had Harinam, and police came, and they wanted to stop Harinam, and because devotees were stronger, they put them in the car, the policemen, and locked them up and continued Harinam. So devotees can be very strong if needed. And people are taking advantage of devotees' non-violence or kindness, then devotees actually can be very, very strong. And one example is Arjuna, that Krishna told him to fight. He didn't tell him sit and meditate and forgive them. But you have to fight. This is your duty. This is your dharma. And we see other examples like Lord Chaitanya wanted to punish Yagaya and Madai, but Lord Nityananda stopped him. So sometimes devotees tolerate, sometimes they don't tolerate. But generally, if you're trying to be good, don't be naive and don't allow people to exploit you. Sometimes devotees complain that I borrow money, I lend money to this devotee, he didn't give me back and he's asking for more, what shall I do? And I say, don't give him any more money. Because he will continue. As long as you give him, he will continue to ask because he sees that you are soft and you are not doing him a favor. So what can you do? If somebody asks for money, maybe they have urgent situation, you can give them some money. And next time they come, you teach them how to make money. You can teach them how to make money. Give a man some money, you feed him for a day, teach him how to serve, you feed him for a lifetime. Now there is another non-vegetarian proverb, but I don't want to use it. From China. So greater favor in helping people is to help them to become empowered, to help themselves, to become self-sufficient, self-reliant, than just always depending on us. So let us take a look at Srila Prabhupada's class and see what he said. He gave a 40-minute class on this verse. If you want to understand God, then try to understand from God Himself. He knows. Just like if you speculate of a big man, a neighbor, a friend, that what is his wealth? Oh, he appears to be very rich man and very strong man, very influential man. And these are the opulences, very beautiful, very wise. So you can calculate, but if you make friendship with that gentleman, and if he speaks about himself, then you can understand what he is. Then how you can understand God, Krishna, by speculation? This is foolishness. Therefore, Shastra advises you that Jnane Prayasam Udapasya, if you think that you are a very learned scholar, you are very advanced in knowledge, and you can manufacture what is God, give up this foolishness first of all. Don't make this foolishness. Jnane Prayasam. Oh, what is your knowledge? Limited. Kupa Manduka, the frog in the well. How you can imagine? Simply by imagination. Is imagination God? Can you create? The Mayavadis say that we can imagine God. God, it is so great that it is not possible to understand the Brahman, but we can imagine some form. This is Mayavada philosophy. This imagination will not. You cannot imagine God. God is fact. God is not subjected to your imagination, and your senses are imperfect. How long you will simply speculate? Give up this practice, foolishness. Don't. Jnane prayasam udapasyam nam. Just become submissive. Jnane prayasam udapa. Namanta eva, be submissive. That is Bhakti Marga. Bhakti Marga is submissive. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is described that the first quality for receiving knowledge is amanitvam, or humility. So without the proper attitude, it's very difficult to understand the philosophy of the Srimad Bhagavatam. One may finish Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma, but he's not become more submissive, and Prabhupada says also more gentle, then his education is useless. So if education doesn't change our character, then it's simply a waste of time. So therefore, sometimes devotees, they complain about seminars. They say, why do we need seminars? We have morning class, evening class. But they are not coming to that class. And they are also not listening at home. So why seminar is important? Because what we have learned, for different courses, what we have learned, in the seminar, we learn how to apply it to our everyday life. Practice, like application of knowledge. Once I was in Buenos Aires and I had a seminar called Education and Follow-Up. There was like Ministry of Education there, and they asked me to make a presentation on this. And I spoke a lot about what happens after you learn something. In the class, in the course, what do you do? How do you apply it? Actually, more important than what happens in the course is what happens after the course. how we apply it. And therefore, follow-up to education is so important that you maybe have somebody who will help you to follow up on what you have learned, like a tutor or a coach or a mentor, somebody who will help you on a daily basis how to apply what you have learned. Or you have a friend who also wants to work on what both of you have learned, and you check on each other. This is needed. I see so many years, I see that this is needed because devotees go to a seminar, after 2 weeks they forget everything. They forget everything. Like we have leadership seminar once a year, or maybe once in 2 years, or once in 5 years. And somebody can come to a leadership seminar and hear some wonderful things and apply nothing in his management and leadership. And then he had some nice time, nice prasadam, nice laughing, nice exercises, a workshop or something, but then didn't use it, didn't apply it. My proposal is to have leadership seminar every month, and in between to have coaching. Then we will have good leadership. Can you imagine this boy who is born in a royal family, and he is trained from the very beginning of his life to be a prince? He's trained, educated, and when he comes to an age to be a king, then still he has ministers, he has advisors. His learning is constant, and we have completely untrained people coming to be spiritual leaders, and then we are wondering why have we so much failure in leadership in ISKCON. No training, not enough training, not enough training. There was a vote in Mayapur, preaching ministry, I think, and then I think that I wasn't there, but I heard that they asked, how many of you want to do outreach? And then a couple of hands went up. How many of you want to do development inside of devotee care? So many hands went up. So now there is like 37, 38 devotees on that committee, which I don't see is very active, but it was active for some years and published some journals on devotee care committee. And Prabhupada said about this boiling the milk. Now we have enough members, let us make them into moons. Let us make them strong, let us make them strong preachers, strong leaders. So, maybe, I don't know for you, but to me one of the most important words in life is training. We are here to be trained on this planet, to learn what not to do, and what to do and how to do it. And training is whole life. It doesn't matter if we are 10, 20, 50 years in Krishna consciousness, we are always learning, always trying to improve, always making mistakes. So therefore, Bhagavatam is always telling us same things from different angles, and also this hearing is training for the mind, training for the intelligence, training for the soul. Hearing to know, to have a compass, to know what is right, and to know what is wrong. Everyone who has this internal compass, he will be able to discriminate what is right and what is wrong, and he will not leave, he will not deviate. Once we asked Niranjan Maharaj, he has developed a wonderful devotee care system in Ukraine. They have 150 mentors, I heard. And so we asked him, what is most important for devotee care? And he said, to build their faith. To build their faith. When somebody has faith, he can face anything in life. Anything. So devotees sometimes have a faith crisis. And they are angry at Krishna, they are angry at the institution. And I tell them, why don't you get angry at your bad habits? It's easy to get angry at Krishna and angry at the institution. Why don't you get angry at your own imperfections? And then, you can make a change. You can become an instrument in Krishna's hands. You can get purified and then help others also who are sincere to work on themselves. So it is said that education is not meant just to transfer information. Education is meant for
learning.
Prabhu, you have finished these courses, you have to say this word. Learning, true, but there is this specific word. It's not for information, it's for
transformation.
Yes, transformation. Transformation. So, Prabhupada said, Vedas are not meant for the discussions of armchair philosophers, but they are meant for the development of character. So if we are not changing our character, then what are we doing in Krishna consciousness? Sometimes people are... Just yesterday somebody told me that some leader was collecting money in the name of the temple and then ran away with that money and built himself a farm or something, become a big guru or something. So this person has not changed his character. He remains a cheater. So therefore, I really like when educators in ISKCON like Adipurusha Prabhu insist on application, learning application. He comes to Slovenia and he teaches Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava also courses. And I attended some of his sessions and he really insists on application, how to apply what we are learning in our everyday lives. If we are reading with an intention to learn something practical, what we will apply today, then we will never be bored when we are reading this so-called philosophy. It's actually very practical instruction everywhere, in every text, in every verse, in every purport, in every book. There are so many practical instructions. And how can one get bored by reading this? Because there is something in it for them, something in it for us, something practical that we can apply on a daily basis and benefit from this. So we want, if we take seriously Srila Prabhupada's Vani or instructions, then this means that we want to apply it. We want to apply it on a daily basis and discuss with devotees, with senior devotees, more experienced, or with our Guru Maharaj, that how can I apply this? Such a wonderful principle. For example, you want to be nice, you want to apply the principle of tolerance, so how to apply it to my situation? Shall I be like Haridas Thakur? Or maybe not. Or maybe like Arjuna, take the sword. Or not sword, the bow and arrow. When shall I be like Haridas Thakur and when shall I be like Arjuna? This has to be defined, this has to be clarified, because sometimes we don't know. Devotees sometimes come to me and tell me, shall I now be soft or hard in this situation? And I say, so what is your conscience telling you? And they say, I'm not sure. So to develop this discrimination, what to do in which situation requires spiritual intelligence. Sometimes it requires guidance. And if an advisor tells this person, you do it, you be hard now, he has to reasonably explain why. Otherwise, the person will be confused. Why should I be hard now? I mean, these are my family or whatever. Or he says, now you should be tolerant. Your parents are putting pressure on you. Don't fight with them. Be tolerant, be patient, but don't give up Krishna consciousness. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati has given an amazing, in Amritavani, an amazing statement that all devotees who are trying to counsel other devotees, mentor other devotees, coach other devotees, like very much. He says that with personal instruction, one can give more value than just speaking from the platform. Because he said that persons' flaws are better rectified in this one-to-one session. So at least my impression is that we don't have enough of this in ISKCON, enough of people who will be trusted guides of devotees. Somewhere we have a system, but then you have a mentor who has 50 people, how can he possibly take care of them? Or 50 families, how can he possibly take care of all of them in 1 month or in 1 week? I don't understand. We have gurus who have so many disciples, they don't have time to write them even a letter or to speak of meeting them. So people are not taken care of. We don't have enough caregivers, not only caregivers, but also personal guides. So this is, you can become a personal guide. You get training, you learn, you take someone to guide you, and then you also become such a guide, because there is such a need for this. Maybe sometimes people ask you, are you initiating? Jai. Have you become a guru? Are you initiating? And you may say, well, no, I'm trying to fill the gap between the guru and the disciple, because there is a big gap. If you become a Diksha guru, then you will have a gap. There will be distance, or you will have so many disciples that you will not have time for all of them. But if you are a mentor, or a counselor, or any kind of personal assistant like that, then you can take on as many people as you can handle. But you do a good job. You take personal care of them. Anything they need. So, can you imagine, our movement has amazing things. I mean, look at the deity worship, look at the festivals, look at the dance, look at the theater, look at the books. We have such an amazing literature, and devotees are making amazing books also, continuing to write. We have unbeatable food in the whole world and in the whole universe. Prabhupada has given us the whole culture. And imagine if we add real personal care, how much this movement will be irresistible. Can you imagine? How much it will be irresistible. Can people see, these people care for each other, and if I join them, they will care for me. People always look how we are dealing with each other. Haribol Prabhu. Goodbye. People see everything. They see if we don't like somebody, if we don't like devotees, some devotees. So if we develop this culture of care, and people can feel it, people can see it, and they're welcome, and we are not here to judge them, we are here to help them, then they will never ever leave. And those who are here, they will also not leave. So many devotees have left because of the mistreatment. Okay, you may say some of them are not very sincere, they wanted something else. That may be true, but at least 50% is our responsibility. So I believe that if this movement adds this very seriously, not only declaration or resolution that, oh yeah, we will develop, we all vote for devotee care, but we don't do it, really. So if our movement really does this, then I think so many people will be attracted, because people are suffering so much. Okay, so to end the class, I give you the example. Imagine you're a temple commander and the devotee comes to you and says, Prabhu, I need socks. And you tell him, look, our treasury is always thin. Maybe not here now, but I'm just giving an example. before, at least where I was growing in Krishna consciousness, we always had a thin treasury. So you say, well, try to ask your parents to buy you socks. And you go to your parents, and your parents are maybe also in trouble, they can't buy you socks, or something more expensive anyway. Just, you understand, just an example. And you come back, and he comes back to you, say, Prabhu, I couldn't get socks. And then you say, so what could you say if you are really a caring leader? What would you say if you would be a caring leader? And what would you say if you would not be a caring leader to such a devotee who is asking you for socks? You tell me.
I would offer him my own socks or say that I take care of arranging some socks.
So maha socks. Yeah, okay. This is one thing. Another thing is, you can do so many things. If you really want to help him, even if you don't have money in the treasury, you can do so many things. But you can also make an excuse and tell him, or be very cold and tell him, I have too much to do, just go away or something. So, and these things happen like this. So you show him that you really care, even if you cannot do anything material at the moment, any practical thing. But he says, he's so concerned about my feet, about my socks, and he is ready to give me his socks, or he will ask another devotee, many other devotees, if they have extra socks. He's going out of his way to provide what I ask him for. He's a caring leader. He's a caring leader. So you have had experience, maybe yourself, personal experience, or devotees who come to you and say, these leaders really fried me up. I collected so much, I worked like an ass, and when I needed something, they just were not there for me, and they were not cooperative. When Prabhupada said, I have not come here to take something from you, I have come to give. So the impression that we should make on people is that we are always giving more than we are taking. Of course, you may say, I'm not taking for myself, I'm taking for Krishna. But sometimes people are taking for themselves also. They're buying cars, buying houses from people's money. This is also happening. This is also happening. But even if you are taking for Krishna, if people are feeling ripped off and exploited, even if you are doing it for the mission, this is not preaching. This is not devotee care. This is not devotee care. So, we also want to always give more than we take. Then I think people will feel protected. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, we'll have a short comment and a question. Comment is regarding, you mentioned before the need of seminars, or like how seminars should be more frequent and like follow-ups. My experience is also that it depends on how strong a seminar gives impressions on the mind of people. I have myself experienced seminars that accompany till today without follow-ups because they created strong imprints and gave me tools that I can use. And there were other seminars which were either rather theoretical or half-hearted or not really competent by the facilitator. So these seminars won't last. So it depends a lot on the quality of the seminar itself and the facilitator, how we can also create imprints. So it would be one comment just on.
So the impression was so strong that you continued to follow up yourself. You didn't need a partner or a coach.
There was also some, but even if there's since many years there's no follow-ups, I still nurture myself from what I experienced.
So it was such a strong experience in the seminar. Well, that's amazing. If somebody, that's really. What is important is the result. I'm not attached to this or that system, but okay. Any question?
Yeah, regarding in the verse, it is described that the devotees, they give up all kinds of aspirations for personal enjoyment or benefits in either in the material world or even in the spiritual world. And I'm sometimes wondering about this, how this what is a proper application of this detachment from personal desire, because it seems sometimes devotees, like, they rather tend to live in denial in terms of what they also spiritually, what they maybe would like and want, and become rather dry. They have devotees who like practice Krishna consciousness a long time. I don't desire this, I only want to serve the Lord. But they appear very dry, you know. So if you could maybe say a few words on that. Because to me it seems like it also some aspirations, they're that sadistic. They are this thing that gives us some drive, some juice, you know, because that's what we aim for. We have some objective, and then we can activate some passion also, for passion in a positive sense. So maybe you can say something.
Who? Very important question. Especially in helping people one-to-one. This is one of the most important questions, how to deal with desires. How to not lose your personality, how to remain a person, but try to purify desires, try to transform. You cannot stop desiring. Sometimes devotees become like impersonalists because they think, oh, I shouldn't desire anything, I shouldn't communicate with anybody, I shouldn't this, I shouldn't that. But Yukta Vairagya means engaging things in Krishna's service. So whatever people have some desires, okay, let's engage it in Krishna's service. Let's see if this can be engaged in Krishna's service. Something maybe cannot be engaged. I always encourage people to desire, even if there is a little bit of a fruitive desire and it's not 100% pure, because this will drive them forward. They will do something. They may make mistakes, and along the way change your motive more and more. I always encourage people to desire to. I always ask them. I mean, you know, in coaching we ask what do you want, and then what is your goals and things like that. So people are afraid to admit to devotees and to themselves that they want something. I know when Mataji said a long time ago, they had a band, devotee band, and it was a struggle. It was with Satchidananda Swami coming sometimes. So she said, why Krishna doesn't give us success? Something, bigger success. We want to spread his name. Although in Yugoslavia, in Serbia, it was not easy at that time, in the 80s. It was all even risky. And then, after 2 years, concerts for a few thousand people in the biggest halls in Serbia. Krishna has given amazing success of this band. I don't know if she remembers that she was angry at Krishna. She was saying, why doesn't he give us success? And he gave success beyond her wildest imagination. So one example that I gave from the Shastra is Dhruva Maharaj. He admitted to his guru. He said, I'm sorry, these are very high instructions, please give me something else. And Narada Muni still encouraged him to worship the Lord, and he didn't tell him, look, you have to suffocate your desire or deny it or suppress it. He said, okay, you want this, but do this in order to get this. And along the way, he was purified, and then Swami Kritartosmi Varam Nayache, he said, oh my Lord, I wanted broken glass, and I got the best jewels now. So our hope is that people's desire will be purified. We encourage them to continue worshipping the Lord, and if anybody can approve the fulfillment of the desire, this is the supreme permitter, the supreme Lord. We don't go to demigods, we don't go to demons, and along the way, let's see what happens for each individual. Okay? Yes?
You mentioned that we have to discriminate when being hard and when being soft. Can you clarify what do you mean with being hard?
Hard, strict. Strict, or telling people very openly about something that is wrong, or insisting that this is not right. Hard doesn't mean we become mad in anger and burn everybody, including ourselves. It means controlled strictness or anger, or, sometimes you have to be strict with people. You cannot always be soft. It's not possible. Like, for example, here, Guru Seva Mataji told me, she asked one gentleman, please don't turn your back to Prabhupada. There was Kirtan. And he said, it's okay. And didn't move. So our duty is to tell people that they shouldn't make offenses to Prabhupada. Also, sometimes devotees offer obeisances with their feet toward Prabhupada. That's offensive. They should offer obeisance either this way or that way, not with their feet there and their head towards the altar. So we should tell people, please don't do this. This is our duty. So we have to be strict. It's not maybe heavy, but we have to, tell people that something is not right. It's our duty. Is that okay?
I made the experience sometimes it's very difficult if you want to give an advice or something that devotees, they accept.
Advice about what?
Well, about behavior, something about misbehavior, like you mentioned, and you try to correct, and it's sometimes difficult that devotees accept this correction.
Correction, I think it has its rules that who corrects whom. If we are not in a position to correct someone, then we report to the authorities. And if they don't do anything about it, what can you do? I don't know. Maybe you can try, but when will someone accept correction from you? Only if they trust you. Only if they trust that you have their best interest at heart. So to build trust is not easy. If you want to correct anyone, first you have to build trust. Then you can correct them. If they trust that Prabhu is my well-wisher, if he corrects me, it's not because he hates me or because he is envious of me, but because he wants to help me. So then you can correct. Okay.
Can I say something?
Oh, he was before. Okay. Yes.
You spoke about devotee care exploitation a little bit, this topic. So some devotees, they say if you come to the temple, you should just give to the temple. You should just give. And I had this experience a couple of times, like when I moved from temple to temple, the expectation from the devotees who lived in the temple was to give and be quiet, not speak too much about things which are not like to be spoken out or discussed. So what's a bit your opinion? What should a devotee in such a situation do? For example, he comes to the temple and first he is very enthusiastic to do all kinds of services and accept everything, but then the taste also disappears, from the beginning with the extra mercy Krishna gives to start, and then suddenly there are desires for human interactions, that you are actually being seen as a human being, not just as the pot washer, for example. So how can we deal with it? What should we do? Because I see also many devotees, they left in the temple after 1 year, 2 years, because they're not satisfied with what they're doing, and they don't feel being even respected as a person, as a human being. So
this is a big question, and I created one file called Devotee Life Plan, and I'm showing it sometimes to local leaders or preachers, where for each devotee we have a plan for their life. And we don't make it ourselves, we do it with them. with themselves, look at this plan and say, okay, what do you want to do? Where do you want to be in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years? Okay, you will be washing pots for 1 year or 2 years, or I don't know, or 10 years, but then you can take sannyas or something. So, therefore, I insist so much on one-to-one, because in one-to-one you can openly speak about your doubts, about your plans, about your desires, and you can have a reasonable hope for your future or a plan. And if they're not, if they're not fulfilling their promises, or they are only talking, then I think I would just leave that place and go to some other place where leaders really will help me to kind of find my way. Nowadays, I think there is about 500 ISKCON centers around the world, so you can go to different places. I think in different places there is different atmosphere in relation to devotee care. Some places are more developed, some places are less developed. But if you find a nice tutor or mentor, wherever he is, I think it's a good place for you to start developing yourself in Kasnif. Later you can leave, but I think your point is very important, because I feel that in ISKCON we lack deep conversations. When you have deep conversations, which means open conversations also, then you can address doubts, you can discuss so many things, you can say things openly without being cursed or hanged. Like Mahatma Prabhu, he has these seminars on forgiveness and also celibacy for men. And he told me that he got feedback. He said, wow, these men, some Prabhus, they came and they say, wow, finally I can speak about it to someone, without fear, because it's a problem. Sex desire is a problem. It's the main problem. But they don't talk without anybody, because they will be judged, they will be demonized, they will be expelled. But he gave an opportunity to speak about it, and it helped many of devotees to overcome this, to overcome the desire for sinful sex. So we need to have space for people to speak and to express and to speak about their challenges, their weaknesses, whatever. Also to not only this, but to highlight their strengths, to also highlight their strengths and appreciate their strengths also. Not only look at the weaknesses, but look at the strengths also. And then I think people will feel more like persons and less like machines who are just doing some service. I heard once feedback for one temple president in one temple. I mean, I don't want to mention even the continent. It's confidential. But one devotee came and said, when this Prabhu looks at me, I feel he's just calculating how much he can get out money from me, how much I can collect, how much service I can do. This is what I feel when they look at me. The manager who's not a leader, is a manager only. And I thought, my goodness, how can someone feel like this in our organization, in ISKCON, spiritual organization? This is horrible. That they feel like this. But people feel like this because leaders are not trained. Our leaders are not trained enough. And then you have amazing communities where people feel taken care of, where the leader is caring, where he's taking time to educate them, taking time to talk to them, or training others who will take care of them, like mentors. And we need to develop this here, everywhere. So you're coming young generation, and you see there is so much lack here. So you can help to build up a caring community by training yourself to be a caring preacher, caring leader. We may die before we become better. We old guys. So, but the young generation can bring in some new, fresh air, fresh blood, fresh ideas, and more care. Because I don't know who you were in your previous life. Maybe this is my first life of devotional service, and maybe this is your 10th life. So you might have so much credit. And the fact that you have come a little later, or I don't know how many years, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can still take up the mission and create ISKCON as Prabhupada wanted it. So it's also the lack and the gap is an opportunity to fill it, to fill the gap. Okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.